Hi, I'm Cheshire Public School Superintendent Dr. Jeff Solon. I hope this video message finds you having a safe and restful summer so far. I know also that you're thinking like me about what will the return to school look like in the fall. And I want to thank so many of you who provided feedback through our 38 different Google Meet video sessions that we had a few weeks back, and the more than 3,000 of you who responded to our survey earlier this week to give us your feedback. We've taken that information and worked with a group of diverse stakeholders from around the community, which included parents, staff, and a student and Board of Education members, to try and craft a plan that would follow the state guidance dictating that every student return to school all day, every day. And we believe that we've provided strong options for families who alternatively seek to keep their children home this fall. So over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through a PowerPoint that outlines the plan we've put together. At the same time, I ask you that you understand that the details are still in the process of being worked out. While we have much more of a scaffold together for you to understand what the fall looks like now, it will still continue to take time to work out every single detail of this momentous shift in how we provide education. I also encourage you to continue to stay in touch with us through the CPS COVID-19 at cheshire.k12.ct.us email that you'll see at the end of the presentation and is also available on our website. So without further ado, please sit back and enjoy our presentation of the fall return to school. Thank you.
Hi, this is Cheshire Public School Superintendent Dr. Jeff Solon with our return to school plan for the fall of 2020. As a brief introduction, I just want to thank our community for the way that we came together and supported our students through this challenging period. We recognize that the inability of our students to be together and to learn in person has hindered not only their academic development, but their emotional well-being. I thank the task force for their work in trying to adhere to the state guidance and follow the best health protocols and advice currently available to support a positive return to school for our students, staff, and community in the fall. The school reopening committee consisted of various parents, students, health professionals, and educators from around the district. I appreciate the time and energy they put into this process, and we will continue to work as conditions change and we move forward. The committee accessed the Connecticut State Department of Education's guidance as their primary resource, along with other health guidance provided through the CDC, American Academy of Pediatrics, and the Connecticut Department of Public Health. The guiding principles provided by the state of Connecticut started with safeguarding the health and safety of all students and staff and allowing all students the opportunity to return full time. Allowing all students means that there are options available for families that I will touch upon later in this presentation. I appreciate all the parents who participated in our 38 Google Meets that we held with parents from across the district a few weeks back, and the additional 3,000 plus who have responded to our parent survey earlier this week. It's clear that our parents, even with the masks and other conditions involved, really want to get their children back to school as much as we'd like to see them. There are, as I indicated, two options available for families this fall: in-person learning and remote learning. The in-person learning will look as close to regular school as we can make it under these conditions. And our goal in the remote learning was to try and provide as close to an in-school situation for those at home as those that are in the building. So I will go through each of these scenarios, the green slides being in-person learning and the yellow being remote. So first, the highlights for students attending in person. Masks will be required, as will social distancing. We know those to be the two most significant interventions to limit the spread of the virus. The other items, such as self-care, cleaning protocols, lunch protocols, health services, will all be different from what our students are used to. And I will go through the rest of these items in great detail. Masks, first and foremost, must be worn at all time. The masks must cover the nose and mouth area, and we recognize that this is incredibly difficult for adults, let alone students. So we will be providing frequent mask breaks. For those with medical or developmental limitations that prohibit masks, we will provide face shields and work with those students independently to create solutions. In very hot conditions, I recognize that could be very steamy in September when we return to school, and we may need to have early dismissals or remote learning days in place of being in school because of the masks. We will make every effort to maximize social distancing. In basic terms, the number of students in the class will be fixed to a certain degree. Our effort is to spread them out to the greatest extent possible. So in a typical 500 square foot classroom with teacher space at the front of the room, if there's 18 students in attendance in that class, it'll be approximately 5 foot by 5 foot, the space for the student, and we will spread people out to the greatest extent possible. If the spacing gets to be too dense, our goal would be to move those students out of that space and find a larger space. And we may have to swap rooms around within the district or move students outside. Self-protective measures include hand washing times, portable hand washing stations, hand sanitizers, and paper towels in place of air dryers in bathrooms. We've added additional cleaning protocols in spite of the fact that there is limited evidence of contact transmission of this virus. We still think it's important to enhance our cleaning protocols with a particular focus on cleaning and disinfecting contact areas, eliminating contact areas so that we may prop doors open so people don't have to touch the door handle, and optimizing air circulation throughout the building. Another area of high focus for us will be bathroom use for additional cleaning during the day. Lunch protocols, the Cheshire Public Schools food service will be operational. So certainly students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch will continue to receive that in school. In the elementary level, students are likely to be dining in classrooms, sort of a DoorDash situation where students indicate what food they would like before school starts, and then that food is delivered for lunchtime with supervision in the classroom. Additionally, we'll probably have to offer at the middle and high school extra lunch waves. Again, we will be maximizing social distancing during this time, including outdoor dining when it's feasible for students. Cohorting is a practice of trying to limit the number of interactions between students throughout the course of the day. So likely elementary school student might have a bus group and the 20 students that are in their class every day. We will limit transitions with other students throughout the course of the day. Middle school students will be cohorted within their team of approximately 100 students, and we're still working on world language and unified art classes, which often have students on one team engaging with students from another team during those periods, but we're working to limit or eliminate that. At the high school level, students will not be cohorted so that they can engage in their full complement of classes. Masks and social distancing will be strictly enforced at all grades, but most critically at the high school level where there's limited cohorting. The more that we can maintain masks and social distancing, the greater that we can reduce the likelihood of spread. Transportation, in the same survey that we asked people about their feelings of returning to school, 50% said that they would be asking the school provide transportation to and from. That's a reduction of what we typically would have on the bus, but we are encouraging all parents, if possible, to drive their children to and from school. Knowing that that's not a reality for a lot of people, we will place aides or volunteers on the bus, particularly at the first couple of weeks of school, if not longer, to monitor social distancing and mask wearing on the bus. Health protocols in and out of school will be significantly different this coming fall. Temperature screening is not really recommended for large environments like schools. So the reason that is because when students walk to school, it can create artificial spikes in temperature, particularly in hot conditions, that it doesn't pick up on asymptomatic individuals. And the last thing we want is for a number of individuals standing in close contact waiting to have their temperature taken. As an alternative to this, we're working with the Chesapeake Health District to provide smart thermometers for families in the district. These smart thermometers are going to be encouraged for use where families take temperatures of the people in the home. Certainly, if your child has a temperature, they should not be attending school. But this also uploads anonymous information to the state and tells us if the number of fevers in our area are starting to climb over a period of time, to provide Chesapeake information and resources to stop the spread of any virus. That being said, touchless thermometers are indeed available in our schools for school nurse and staff in the event screenings need to take place in the building. Inside the building, the number one rule is if you're feeling sick, stay home. That's an important rule for students and staff alike. And individuals who report symptoms during the day will be quarantined within the building and sent home for monitoring. If someone tests positive, we will engage the health department and engage in contact tracing and quarantining individuals as necessary. We will also notify people who attend that school and are in the school community that we did have an individual test positive. It's important that we not release that individual's name, but also remain transparent and notify the community. Before and after school care will continue at the elementary level. The YMCA has been successfully running a camp here in the district over the summer, as well as 550 children at Camp Sloper from various communities. The Y has had great success in following state protocols such as cleaning conditions and cohorting, and we will continue to work with them to provide that much needed resource for many families in our school system. The transition back to school will be unlike any other transition our students have seen ever. So we recognize that at the heart of a positive school system is relationships between students and between staff members, students and staff. So we are aspiring to bring back smaller groups to start the school year in the fall, so that students can get to know their teachers better and each other a little better, as well as provide tours and an understanding of the new protocols in a much more intimate setting, so that we can acclimate students to buildings who had no opportunity to engage in any sort of transition programs last spring. So stay tuned for more on that as well. The highlights for students engaging in remote learning include synchronous, asynchronous learning, and I also want to touch on special education and free and reduced lunch service. In a synchronous learning scenario, a student who may be engaged in a reading class at 10 o'clock in their school day, who is at home, would log on and be in that class from home. And that is somewhat challenging, but we've taken significant steps to level the playing field between the student who's in the classroom and the student who's at home. We've started to begin to secure technology that allows for students at home to see their teacher through a camera installed in the classroom. When the teacher presents information on the smartboard, the student at home sees that information on their laptop or Chromebook. The teacher is also wearing a microphone so that there are speakers in the classroom that the students in the class can hear the teacher more clearly. Additionally, that microphone pumps audio into the student who is at home. There are additional microphones in the ceiling which allow for the student at home to hear classroom discussion. And when the student at home speaks, the speakers in the classroom allow that student to be heard by all students in the class and the teacher. So we believe that this effort really helps the student who is at home and participating remotely be a much fuller part of the class and receive a much deeper instructional experience. Unfortunately, not every room will be outfitted with this technology. For example, physical education, the acoustics in the gym are certainly not adequate for this technology. We will be creating Screencastify or YouTube videos for distribution among students, as well as providing other resources through the Google Classroom platform for classes that are not compatible with this technology. Special education services, we recognize that many students who may not be able to attend that receive special education services are doing so because they're immunocompromised. We recognize that there are unique educational and safety and health challenges for those families, and our special education services department is working individually with those families to try and work out a plan that provides an instructional option for those families in a healthy and safe manner. The key for us is going to be flexibility this upcoming school year. We turned to remote learning on a dime in March, and there's a chance from the data across the country that we may even have to shift from this model that I'm presenting now. We're simultaneously planning for a hybrid model that may include part-time schooling if health circumstances warrant, and of course, in the worst case scenario, a full remote option as well. So in conclusion, I want to thank you for taking the time to review this presentation. And while this document provides a lot more information, I also realize that there are many, many questions that still have to be answered and many more details which need to be provided. Our team is working around the clock to provide those details and work out solutions that support our students, staff, family, and community. So we encourage you to continue communication, and your school nurse and principal are great resources to reach out to, but you can also continue to use the CPS COVID-19 at cheshire.k12.ct.us email address. This upcoming Tuesday, July 14th at 7 p.m., we will be having a special board meeting to talk about the fall remote plan and the return to school. And that link is available in the email that's sent out with this presentation. So we encourage families to review the presentation and send us feedback, questions, and concerns, and we'll do our best to get to those questions and concerns in our upcoming board meeting on Tuesday. So again, thank you very much for your time. I hope that you're having a safe and restful summer. This has been Dr. Jeff Solon. Thank you.